Georgia State! Sitting here again talking about the same things.
Well, another week has gone by, and, well, as per the usual, there's more chaos to go along with it. Welcome, everybody, to another grand old episode of the FBS Report. And, Red, why don't you tell everybody what that stands for in case they don't know?
FBS, 3 letters that are apparently new language in the state of North Dakota. Only it's not what they think it is. No, my friends, it doesn't mean football bowl subdivision. It means fucking bullshit. And what in the hell was this weekend in football news? Like
plenty of freaking bullshit to go around. Hold on, I got the dadgum cat over here.
Oh fuck, show's fucked already. God
everybody
damn
say
it.
hi to Smokey.
Aw, say hi to Kitty.
Yeah, he was behind my computer set trying to cause trouble. So, yes, you're a real smart fella. Okay, let me get him out of here real quick.
Well, we all love hairy pussy on the show, right, guys?
Okay, then. Sorry about the interruption. We are back. Welcome. All right. So yeah, no, crazy week. A lot of action in the sports world. We're transitioning now, and we can officially say at this point that we're transitioning into basketball season. So we'll touch on that a little bit, even though both of our teams are absolute donkey dog water doo-doo ass. But we'll touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what a lot of you, I imagine, are here for, we both announced that 8:30, 30 minutes from now, the tree, the man himself, the Yinzer, will be joining us to talk about the Super Bowl on top of Pitt football in general. So shout out to him especially. He was a big help, as well as Mr. Red over here in the college football chaos episode that finally got to dropping. I finally dropped it Friday night. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah.
I can't say shit about that because I'm still working on the Lane Kiffin video. And I mean, I'm kind of a veteran at making those hour-long feature films at this point, those video essays. And God love you, Squid. You're not.
Duh.
You don't do an hour and a half usually. So when I heard you were going to make it a 90-minute video, I was like, oh, he has no fucking idea.
Well, I don't go into that planning to make it a documentary. It's not. I don't go into that thinking, oh, this is going to be around 90 minutes. It's going to be great. I don't go into that planning that. It just so happens that whenever I build up all of those, because I do every single bowl game, eventually, by the time I reach bowl game number 40, I realize, yeah, this is probably going to be well over an hour.
Oh,
an hour of chaos.
40. Okay.
It's twice as long as your usual college football chaos episode, and I went into that expecting that to be the case.
My friend, you should have known what you were in for when you saw how long it took me to end the fucking season in my regular season recap that I made when it was an hour and change. I think it was almost an hour. So like whole fucking like mess, all of it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you got it out. I was happy to be a part of it. Always happy to join you on one of your videos, buddy. But I think we need to get into one of the biggest stories to come out of college football this weekend. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, let's jump right into it. So this is the big news out of this week for us college football fans. A new team has joined the chaos. And what's funny enough is I pointed this out literally in my chaos video when Delaware won their bowl game. I was like, this team is running out of excuses. Well, they seem to have recognized that more than anybody because North Dakota State, the Bison, the rulers of the FCS for as long as I or Red can remember, has finally agreed to join the Mountain West Conference. They will be a part of the FBS in a football-only deal starting next season. So North Dakota State joining the Mountain West the very next year. This is going to be very, very exciting for a lot of North Dakota State fans, I imagine. And it opens the door, more importantly, for more teams from the FCS to maybe take the same idea and jump on in with North Dakota State. But as for it stands right now, the Bison are the only ones to make that move, at least at this point in time. So, yeah, no, crazy news for sure. Did not expect that to be this early.
Yeah, that I was more surprised. I'm not surprised at the fact that they're doing it because I think a lot of people online are holding the same sentiment. They've done damn near everything they could possibly do at that level, and they've maximized all the shit and all the potential they've had at that level. So, like, they've been the gods of FCS for nearly 20 years. They had a run that was parallel with Alabama for a moment there when they just would win nonstop national championships almost every fucking year. And I mean, the Dakota schools in general have kind of been running FCS for the better part of the last decade. So, like, you'll get an occasional outlier like a Sam Houston State or somebody like that. But I mean, the Jackrabbits and the Bison and have been absolutely tearing it up. So it was long expected. Here's what surprised me. I'm surprised they're not doing a gap year in FCS. I'm surprised that they are starting immediately in FBS. The way it normally works is when you declare you're going to transition, you pay the fees, you do the dues, and you play your first season as a member of your conference still, but you cannot compete in the postseason. That, for example, Delaware did that. They took a gap year when they made the leap up to FBS. And then last year was their second year of transition. You do your first year still in FCS, and then your second year is when you actually make technically the jump. And then the year after that is when you are eligible for bowl games and conference championships and the playoffs and all that crap. North Dakota State's not going to be eligible for anything like that until 2028 because they're making the jump a year early, which is interesting.
Now, of course, sorry to cut you off.
No, you got a point.
It is worth to mention, though, that the only reason Delaware and Missouri State made a bowl game this year is under the exception is if there's not enough teams.
That is the difference.
To cover all the bowl games.
Yes,
yeah,
that is the difference. No, I was going to say that. Like, if there's not enough there's not enough bowl eligible teams, obviously, then they could sneak into like an Xbox Bowl or a fucking Frisco Bowl or something like that. What I'm going to be curious to see the most of is how heavy does North Dakota State go? Because a lot of programs, they make the jump to FBS and then they just kind of crash in Conference USA and they're just cooking with the money and all that bullshit from there. North Dakota State's different. They're jumping from FCS to the Mountain West, one of the top group of 5 conferences in the country. This isn't like Delaware or Montana or Missouri State. They have Boise State first group in the first 12-team playoff. Boise State made it. Okay. The American just got a team in this year. They were one of the top. Now, I know they just got gutted and a lot of people moved over to the Pac-12, but bringing in a school like North Dakota State should help with that. Sorry, Northern Illinois, you don't really count here. But compared to the Sun Belt, compared to the Conference USA, compared to the MAC, I mean, that's a hell of a leap.
Rangav gets us started off with a $10 super chat. Much appreciated. Says, am I the only one surprised North Dakota State didn't take South Dakota State with them? Well, they don't have any control over that. That's completely up to the program. They can't, North Dakota State can't talk for another school. It'd be like if Delaware and Missouri State were conglomerated together and both agreed. No, it just so happened one joined and then the other joined in at the same time. But hold on. If NDSU hits the ground running like JMU, Missouri Valley Conference better have eyes in the back of their heads. Domino effect? Potentially so, though. You could be right about that.
Yeah, that could happen.
Sport Ball Otaku should have brought South Dakota State as a travel bud. Yeah, no. A lot of people are going to be all over that.
Well,
they are gonna receive a lot of pressure to join over this offseason.
Yes. So I fully anticipate South Dakota State to make the jump no later than next year. I would not be surprised if the Montana schools make the jump as well in the very near future because everybody in that region of the country was kind of waiting on North Dakota State to make the run for it. Like they weren't going to do anything first because admittedly North Dakota State's kind of the king of football in that region. And there is a massive gap in the country. Once you get past Wyoming in this country, there's not FBS level college football. So there's been a massive gap. But I mean, you look at Montana State, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, like all those fuckers have FBS ready stadiums. They've just been playing in FCS for a while because of where they are. And because they play all their rivals in that area. So, like, I fully expect, I don't think South Dakota State is making the transition, and the Mountain West already said doors closed. They're not going to add any more teams in for this upcoming season. But I can see the Montana schools making a leap for the Pac-12. I could see South Dakota State making a jump to the Mountain West next season. It's very possible, and I think that's going to be what ends up happening. I don't see South Dakota and North Dakota making the leap with them. They might get left behind. But
now, it's worth noting that I think the Mountain West also, one of the things that they want is for an even amount of teams to be in the conference. And right now, with the addition of the Bison, they have 10 teams because they include Northern Illinois in there as well. So if they bring along South Dakota State, they're going to have to, they're probably going to find somebody else along with them as well. And that
then they'll probably grab South Dakota or the next biggest school, or they might, because one, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. Well, actually, no, they could just grab Tarleton State down in Texas.
Sacramento State
might be going to the Pac-12. They've been pushing hard. Fuck, Sac State, they might start as an independent FBS.
I would not do that if I were Sacramento State.
They are thirsty. I have not seen a school this thirsty to make the leap to FBS in a very long time. Like, they are dying to get in there. It's almost pathetic in a way.
The Pac-12 right now is by far better than, like, the conferences like the Mountain West and the MAC. It just is. They took the best contenders in that conference and moved them over to the Pac-12.
Yes. But
which brings me to my next point, actually. I want to go ahead and throw out a bold prediction for you. This is going to be a bold one, and I'll probably run with this until the season starts. North Dakota State wins the Mountain West year one.
Well, they can't, because they can't compete in the conference championship year one.
I'm telling you right now, if North Dakota State winds up being as good as I think they will be and runs that conference, that they're going to change that.
They might not have a choice if that were to happen, but I doubt it. Honestly. Okay, so they get into the conference, they run the table in the conference schedule. Okay, that's cool and all. What'll be the record of everybody else in that conference? That's what I'm really going to be curious to see at that point.
They will push back on that, though.
I mean, the answer is pushing back on a lot of shit.
They will be. They will push back on that.
Yeah, I mean, of course they will, but I don't see it obviously changing the game, because you don't want there to be a mass exodus from teams from FCS. This is the tipping point, okay? Like, North Dakota State making the jump. This is going to be the tipping point for schools like Montana State, Montana, South Dakota State to make the leap with them. Tarleton State's probably not going to be that far behind. They've been making a massive rush. Sacramento State's probably going to be not far behind either. They've been pushing real hard. Those are your most obvious schools, I think, to make the leap next. But the NCAA, they've had no control over a lot the last 5 or 6 years. They really don't want to blow the lid off of the FCS and make a mass rush happen, or a stampede, I guess you could call it, because number one, obviously, I'm not saying like every single type of FCS team would make the rush for the door to go to FBS, because now a lot of schools can really do that. I mean, one thing to be noting here is that North Dakota State, they're a football only member right now. They're not making the full leap, just football only. The rest of the schools are staying in the Summit. Fucking shit.
All right, we're professionals over here, as you can tell.
Very professional.
Yeah, but
I
do believe right now North Dakota State is a huge addition for that conference, and they might run the table. I can't confirm that they will, and honestly, I'm not picking them to, because teams take losses; they just do. I don't think they're going to run the table, but they have a very. There's not any other team. There's not any other schedule with an easier slate than this. So, do you think right now North Dakota State's better than Air Force?
This is where we really are kind of not going to know until August, because the difference between an FCS playoff team and an FBS, Mountain West team, it could be quite a wide gap. Like, let's not forget here. They haven't had any time to get players from the portal to make the jump. This just happened this week. So they're not going to be able to get a whole lot of players from that have FBS experience into the portal. Now, I'm not saying that obviously the team they have right now isn't good enough to win in the FBS. Far from it. They're good enough at least to go 500, but I'm not going to start pounding the drum and saying North Dakota State undefeated 12-0. I refuse to go that way, because this is still you're going up to another degree of difficulty here. You're now on All-American difficulty in FBS. This isn't varsity mode anymore. This is the show.
I don't know how to really feel about that, because I think the gap is overinflated when it comes to FCS and then FBS in general. Only because a lot of the time that you see like people point to Montana State when they played Oregon and got the absolute piss beat out of them. But the way I see it is like, you put any other G5 team in there and they get their ass beat too. I mean, it literally happened to James Madison. They were the best contender out of the G5 or G6. And look what happened to them. The exact same thing. So that, I mean, North Dakota State could go into one of these lower G5 conferences, and I think they're on even footing or even better than most of those teams there. I think they're better than Air Force. I think they're better than UTEP, Wyoming, San Jose State. The only ones I think could be an actual legitimate problem for them are UNLV and Hawaii. That's who I think would be the most legitimate forces in that. Maybe you could probably put New Mexico in there as well. But
absolutely. I would say that the reason why I'm not tipping my hand here, because you never know until you're actually there. It's a great program, one of the most legendary non-FBS programs in the country, finally making the leap. I would be shocked if they had a losing season their first go around. They have the talent to do it. And to answer your questions, I think they're better than a lot of the people in the Mountain West. I would say that much.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they don't usually play those guys. So what are they going to look like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 5, week 14? We're not really going to know. And then after that, that's when the real challenge begins. Bringing in players via the transfer portal to fucking North Dakota to go play for the Bison in the Fargo Dome. That's going to be the real, because all these guys in FCS, hey, they just got a fucking rocket ship straight to the top of college football. Now, the guys that come after that, it's going to be the tricky bit, because you got to convince these players, hey, you're not going to go postseason, do anything. We're just not guarantee a bowl game, not guarantee conference rings, nothing next season. Is there going to be a regression after that?
Could be. One thing I do think will be tougher is that the schedule for FCS teams as compared to FBS is different.
It is.
The schedules for FBS teams are longer, and if you make the postseason, you only have that one game unless you make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So the postseason, if you make the postseason, if you're not one of the top 12 teams, matters a whole lot less than if you're a top 32 team in the FCS, because then if you're a top 32 team, you make the playoffs. But there's only a spot for the top 12 teams in the entire FBS. And out of the teams in their group of 6, only 1 or 2 of those are going to be good enough. And for North Dakota State, even that's not guaranteed.
No.
Even if they do wound up being the best team in the G5.
Right. Let's answer that question he brought up a moment ago.
Yeah, not my bad. I meant to read that. Arctic Phoenix with the 2. Thank you very much. Says, do you think there will be FBS teams moving to FCS? I think the only possibility of that at this point right now would be UMass. But even Kent State went 0-12 and then they bounce back. Like teams get, they have they play really low and then they eventually get a jump somewhere down the line. Where I would think that they would move to the FCS is if they were actively losing revenue per year or if they weren't gaining anything, because that's the only reason these teams are playing football in the first place is to gain money. And the only time I would see them bounce down to FCS would be if they were actively losing revenue by playing in the FBS.
So let's look at Idaho, because the Vandals were once a member of the FBS, and today they are the only team. This is important. They are the only team to make the demotion on their own accord back from FBS to FCS. Normally, the road to the FBS is a one-way street. There's no turning back. There's no backseats once you get there. You're there. So the reason why they went back was a combination of a lot of factors. Number one, they really had no rivals. They really had nobody around them that gave a shit about the program that they had a history with. All their teams that they had history with were still in FCS, Idaho State, Montana State, all those guys. And the only other FBS rival, Wazoo, beat the fucking piss out of them every other year when they actually played. So that's the first thing. Second, they had very little success. not UMass level terrible. They would make a Potato Bowl here and there and a Comp USA and a Hawaii Bowl, but they never really got where they were wanting to go. When they came into FBS, they had some real expectations that they were going to make the leap and actually, make their name, kind of like what Boise State ended up doing. They never got to do that. Third, conference realignment was a fucking bitch on Idaho because they were a member of the Sun Belt, and the Sun Belt just straight up dropped their asses in favor of, I think it was New Mexico State or another group of 5 school because of just how god fucking mid the Vandals have been. And then finally, it was the money, because if they were going to be an independent, it wasn't going to be worth it to them at that point. They had no conference revenue sharing at that point. There was no more money coming in. So it was cheaper to go back. And the other critical thing here is that they had all of their non-revenue sports already in the FCS level. So UMass would only go back if all of those factors, I think, lined up. Give me 1 second.
Yep. You got a family to attend to. Nothing you can do about that. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree with everything that he said. But a lot of it does come down to money and revenue generation. Like, if they're not making enough money to fund their program in the FBS, there's only one of two options. Either A, you cancel the football program for the time being on an indefinite level, or 2, you move down to a different division or somewhere else that'll help you gain the revenue to be able to keep competing.
Yeah. I mean, UMass is not a program I see moving back down because of their own hubris. Because they're all of their non-revenue sports are in the MAC now. If they had still had a foot in the door with the NEAC or the fucking CAA or something like that, still with their basketball and some other programs, I would say it's likely, because they would not be getting, but they're full members of the MAC. That would be a whole another can of worms trying to demote yourself from there. And they worked really hard. If football were to get kicked out of the MAC and the A10, thank you. I didn't know what conference they were in prior to that. But I mean, I don't see it right now unless the MAC decides, you know what, we're better than UMass. And I just don't see that happening anytime soon.
It'd be unlikely. In the meantime, while he's handling that situation, in conclusion, Idaho, no, Udaho or Lane Kiffin. All right. Well, I wanted to touch on this real quick before we get into our Super Bowl action. And I'll talk with Red about this in just a minute, but some of us have been wanting to know the updates all around. I know, boo. Yeah, no, I'm a very hilarious person. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, but anyway, a lot of us are wanting to know the updates around our senior citizen quarterbacks that just can't seem to get out of college football. Specifically revolving around Trinidad Chambliss, Ole Miss's quarterback, and Joey Aguilar, Tennessee's quarterback. It was announced earlier last week that Joey Aguilar was granted a temporary restraining order against the NCAA. Now that means is that the case is going to come back up at some point, and we'll find out then and there, hopefully, whether or not Joey Aguilar will be granted another year, or if he's going to be stuck, at McDonald's or wherever the hell he decides to go. Because I think at this point, I don't know if he's going to go to the draft. I don't know where he'll go. But something to keep in mind is that Trinidad Chambliss, that one is different. That case is different, as the NCAA has fully denied his waiver appeal for a 6th season of eligibility. And we all expected that. We all kind of knew that was going to be the case. I don't think there was many people that actually expected Chambliss to get another year with Ole Miss. So they'll have to find a new quarterback. For Tennessee's sake, I guess the drama continues forward. And here's the problem I have with that as a Tennessee fan, is that you're basically, Heupel is really throwing the dice here. Because this isn't solved yet. He is basically putting our entire season on whether or not Joey Aguilar is going to be our starting quarterback. And I guess he's convinced just as much as anybody else that he is going to come back for another year. But they rejected that for Chambliss. What if they reject it for Aguilar? And then more importantly, what if they reject it for Aguilar way later in the offseason? Say we go through the spring, go through summer camp, and then fall rolls around, and then out of nowhere, they announce Joey Aguilar is ineligible to play. Then what do we do? By that point, it's way too late to go find another quarterback to come in. We're stuck with Merklinger or not McIntyre, whatever his name is. We're stuck with one of those two backup quarterbacks unless we decide to start true freshman files on Brandon. Probably not going to happen. So this is a really, really bold thing Heupel's doing for Aguilar, because if it falls through, then he's basically putting this entire season on a backup quarterback. Scary situation.
It's
Very
a big risk. I only caught like the back half, but I think I know what you're talking about here. Chambliss got denied.
Yep.
So I would just say to Mississippi, fucking just rip the Band-Aid off and move on at this point, because if you're currently losing the legal battle, the offseason waits for no one. It's a stupid play to be trying to stick with Chambliss. He can fight for another year of eligibility all he wants. And if he gets it, hey, good for you. But if you're asking me if I should put my fucking football team's whole season on the back of whether or not Chambliss comes back for another year, move on. Indiana moved on before the fucking national title was even won. They didn't try to delude themselves. Even if they had lost the national championship, they were going to Josh Hoover, a quarterback there, who transferred over while Fernando Mendoza was still running. Fuck, Signetti allegedly kicked Mendoza out of the fucking facilities, and now he's stuck doing sponsorships for Planet Fitness until the draft. So,
this is just a quarterback issue, though. This is an issue all around the college football world, where you've got these senior citizens that are sticking around in college football for well over 4 years. A typical college football player stays in college and plays college football from particularly anywhere from 3 to 4 years. 3 years if you're good enough to make the draft, 4 years if you're just a player going on to graduate, and then maybe 5 if you're on an injury red shirt or anything like that. But you've got players that are going for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. You got players that are sticking around for dadgum 9 years.
Well,
what are we doing?
To be fair, a lot of bullshit that goes back to COVID is a lot of that. There was the occasional 5-year senior 20 years ago when there would be like a medical red shirt that came up. You would still have players even, before COVID that would have been around for a 6th season because of medical red shirting. It happened. It just didn't happen that fucking much. When you add that process in, you add in the graduate transfers factor, and then also the fact that, hey, a lot of these guys that are still around might have enrolled during COVID. It's going to be another problem for at least 1 or 2 more seasons. And then it's going to be finally like, okay, we can go back to what we would see more of. 4 to 5 year seniors will be a regular, but you won't see 6 or 7. No more TJ Finleys after this season.
Hopefully not, because that's bullshit. Speaking of bullshit, I think the guy who just joined our panel knows a whole lot about bullshit just in general, whether that's for Pitt or for anything in the NFL. He's here, fellas. So let me go ahead and introduce him formally. I don't think he needs any introduction, though. I really don't. Let me introduce special guest, Mr. UrinatingTree. How's it going, good sir?
What's up, man? I'm doing good, guys. It's a Monday after the Super Bowl. I'm working on some hockey for the first time in God knows how long.
Oh, that's got to be a relief for you.
Oh, dude, it's no longer football. I mean, there's going to be some football throughout the offseason, too. I'm working on a few other videos there, too. But mostly I'm finally able to talk hockey, and it is beautiful. Everyone say, like, oh, I'm going to miss football. It's like, fuck no. Go watch hockey in April and May. Trust me. You won't miss football. Trust me.
No. There's hockey, there's basketball, there's baseball. There's plenty of other sports that you can go and enjoy.
Absolutely, man.
I'm sure you'll know all about it. All right. Well, Tree, tell us, first and foremost, what'd you think of that absolute monstrosity of a Super Bowl last night?
Honestly, it was just a pure defensive grind. Can't really say much about it. Seattle dominated for 60 whole minutes. It's one of those things where they didn't want to leave it to chance by being over-aggressive. It's just, hey, we're going to beat you with our defense. We're going to strangle the shit out of you, and we're just going to leave it at that. And that's pretty much what they did. It's just they willingly just locked them up and just let them just like squeeze the life out of them like a boa constrictor does. And Drake May tried to force a few things, tried to be a hero, did not work. And slowly the wheels just came off. And they tried, but the problem is it's just Seattle was the better team. New England was not meant to be here. They did get a lot of breaks. It's a great season for them, but here's the question. They have a lot of work that needs done. Their offensive lines had a lot of issues. Drake May had an abysmal postseason. I know he did play some really good defenses, but in terms of like EPA, he's the worst statistical quarterback who's played 3 games, even worse than the withered husk of 2015, Peyton Manning and Rex Grossman. So, yeah, I mean, it stings. It's a good season for him, but at the same time, it's like you got to make it count because you don't know how many chances you have. And Seattle made it count.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Would you say that this was a failure of Drake May, the quarterback, or the offensive line? Because in my opinion, as a former college football offensive lineman myself, he got fucking killed against that Seattle defense. It's one thing to be like, oh, there's some bad throws. I mean, late in the game, there was a really shit poor interception towards the end that he was trying to play hero ball with.
He had a couple with too.
Yeah, but like I feel like he just got rattled. I mean, this is a second-year player on the biggest stage in this side of the world in terms of sports, trying to will this historic franchise to a Super Bowl victory. But I genuinely just don't think that it's all his fault personally. I'm not on the fuck Drake May train.
It's a combination of things. I think Drake May is partially responsible, especially later on. But the offensive line, especially the left side, was horrendous. I know Will Campbell is hurt, but there's no excuse for him getting bull rushed 3 straight weeks in a row, 4 weeks in a row. Because, as I said, him, Jared Wilson, you were talking about these 2 rookie, like left guard, left tackle. They definitely look like rookies, especially on the Byron Murphy sack when they just bull rushed Jared Wilson right into Drake May and literally just took him and the guard down. He had 6 sacks against him. Seattle just gave him fits. And to borrow a wise term from a quarterback who played for Seattle, he was seeing ghosts. He couldn't really depict what was going on there. It was a masterclass in defense.
This guy said it best. Leif Hofstad with the 29-13. Sup, fellas? Got back home today, going to the Super Bowl with my dad and older sister. One of the happiest days of my life to see a team win a title in person. Sam Darnold is officially a Ghostbuster. Go Hawks. Congratulations, buddy. You earned it.
Congratulations. I actually appreciate the dollar amount he gave you, $29.13. Final score.
Yeah, right. I get it. Don't you get it, Red?
I mean, we all get it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. The one thing that really blew me away was just how incredibly good that Seattle's defense really was against that New England offense attack, but also how incredibly mid Seattle's offense really was during that game. Outside of Walker, Sam Darnold did not have to play his best game at all. The kicker just went out every other drive and kicked a field goal and willed them to a goddamn Super Bowl.
I'm going to say this in the defense. Christian Gonzalez made a few big plays. Otherwise, this would have been a blowout by the second half. Let's be real here. Because New England's defense was pretty good. They were averaging less than 8 points or 9 points against in like the first 3 playoff games. So they are a really good unit. But at the same time, they did try. Like, they stopped Seattle when they could have had points. They kept them as long as they could. But once again, once the fumble started happening, the wheels just fell off, and that was it.
Yeah, and Kenneth Walker, I think we all knew this about Kenneth Walker, but he was an absolute unit in that game.
Very much so.
Just blasted through that line time and time again. That's the main reason that I don't think that – I mean, obviously the field goals are extremely important, and in my opinion, that he should have won the MVP because of that.
Yes.
I think it should have been him.
7 field goals.
Yeah, it should have been Myers or Michael Dixon. Michael Dixon had a phenomenal game. He pinned New England back within the 10-yard line. I couldn't count him many times, like at least 4 or 5. He was the unsung hero of the Seahawks.
Absolutely. Dumb Gamers with a 5. The Super Bowl was what should have happened in the divisional round if CJ Stroud didn't shit the bed.
Pretty much. Dude, I would have loved to see the Texans defense against the Seahawks defense. That would have been a gauntlet. But the problem is CJ Stroud shit his pants, and that's what we get.
A lot of people were saying Denver would have given them a way better challenge.
I think so, too, especially with their defense. It was the number 1 against the number 2 defense. I think that would have been a really good treat to see, too, if Brandon Jones were healthy. But once again, they didn't have their starting quarterback, and the elements came to play. I mean, I don't know if Bo Nix beats New England, but he wouldn't have made that gaffe before the end of the first half.
Very unlikely.
Yep. It's upset.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's not much really you can do if you're New England at this point. What I just cannot get past for the life of me is just the lack of presence on that field by Stephon Diggs. Was he really their only weapon going into this game at the wide receiver? Because admittedly, I didn't have a chance to really review a fuck ton of the NFL coming into this game. I was so buried in the college game this season. Yeah. But like, it feels like once you took away Stephon Diggs, who the fuck was open?
Kayshon Boutte has been pretty good as a deep threat. But at the same time, they didn't really have like a legitimate number one. Like Stephon Diggs is like a 1A, 1B, 2 type. He's not what he was anymore. He tore his ACL the year before. He did have a really good year. Hunter Henry, I feel weird by this because I still feel like Hunter Henry's in like year 3 or 4. He's in year 10. He played for the Chargers when they were in San Diego. That's how long he's been in the league. So there is a bit of that as well. I know New England's had some trouble drafting and developing wide receivers. You know, they had Tyquan Thornton for a bit. He didn't work out. You know, N'Keal Harry, enough said there. Philip Dorsett, he was another guy that didn't really work out there too. But at the same time, they've been trying to plug and play. I think maybe wide receiver is what they go for here.
Certainly.
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker, the man who left Michigan State and made Mel Stroker do what he did. Oh yeah, trust me. We all remember what goes on with that. No need to touch on that.
Dog. You're right. Mac Hollins had a few catches. He had a couple big catches down the stretch too, but he's more like a number 3, number 4 type. He's not like a pure pass catching option. Unless you're in an Arthur Smith offense, then he'll get all the targets he wants.
Oh yeah, speaking of Arthur Smith, hey Red.
Fuck off. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Red, all I'm going to say is, dude, have fun. Enjoy.
I'm not going to have any goddamn fun.
Just you watch, man. They're going to find a way to get Jonnu Smith another year of eligibility, and they are going to feed that. Just say it, man. That. It's going to happen, and you know it.
Oh, man, yeah,
I'm
the bullshit's real.
I'm not worried about Jonnu Smith. I'm more worried about him ruining the development of Julian Sayin. I'm more worried about that shit because – especially towards the back half of the season, he really slowed down, and he did not show me anything in those final 2 or 3 games that gave me a lot of confidence. The game against Michigan, he kind of was sidelined. He just let Bo Jackson run for his life, and he did a lot of work. Conference championship game, fucking shit. And then the game against Miami killed his ass because our offensive line forgot the blocking on the airplane. So I'm not confident in Arthur Smith. I know Chip Kelly worked out. I know Matt Patricia worked out until it didn't. So now I'm like, third time, I'm going to get my ass burned, and I know it. It's going to be a 2-loss, 3-loss season at minimum, I think.
God, you are not happy about that.
I love how like the expectations are so high in Ohio State. You're pissed at a 2-loss, 3-loss season.
Well, listen,
for Pitt, it's just like
for that.
I mean, Pitt would be like, oh, great, Narduzzi's still here. And then they'd find a way to choke to a non-Power 5 team in the Pro Bowl.
Okay, well,
feel that. Yeah, speaking of which, something I got to touch on. This is we talk college football in here all the time. And so now I got to hear from you in particular. Pitt, again. Pitt the bed.
Honestly, I'm not shocked by it. They've been doing it since I was a teenager, man. Pitt football and choking go together like peanut butter and jelly. Like they are just like, okay, they're just a team. I don't even pay attention to them for the most part because I'm sitting there like, okay, they're probably going to choke this game because it's just rote like memorization. They usually choke these sort of games. And against ECU, they were a team without a bunch of their starters out with the transfer market. They dominated offensive possession, dominated yardage. They had their hotshot freshman quarterback Mason Heinschel that came out of nowhere. I mean, Bo Holstein, he was good for a year. Then he fell off. He's ahead of the transfer market. And now you're in a situation where your offensive coordinator's young hotshot didn't really do much there in the end. But once you faced real teams, Notre Dame was your true test. I mean, it was great in Notre Dame against there for the first like 5 minutes. And then everything went to shit. It's like, oh, yeah, Jeremiah Love's really fucking good. And then it's like, well, that was fun. Yeah. And then everyone just stayed for Sweet Carolina and immediately left.
Most Pitt fans that I talked to about this season, they said the same thing. The season was a wash in week 3 when y'all got beat by West Virginia.
And then it's just West Virginia and Louisville, both. Because we're sitting there like, oh, great. Okay. And then they end up just rattling off a bunch of random ones. They beat Florida State during their massive losing streak. They upend a few other teams as well. They nearly choke it to Georgia Tech. I'm sitting there the whole time like, oh, God, we're going to fucking choke to Georgia Tech. and Pat Narduzzi had this really bad fake punt. And like Bill O'Brien style.
So
they're 35.
bad, yeah.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Fire this fucking dude's ass. Even if we win, fire him. And then he got bailed out by a pick six, but still.
No, y'all tried your hardest.
Oh, they choked that. They tried to choke that. And the problem is they're never going to fire Narduzzi. He's poor man's James Franklin. Like, he's a dude that fancies himself an elite coach, but in reality, he's when you face a real team, you get smacked. And the same thing happened to James Franklin, but Penn State has Adidas money, so they can get rid of James Franklin.
Do you think that's what it's going to take to get Pitt anywhere back to what they used to be back in the 70s and the 80s? Like,
I don't know if that's happening. I mean, the problem is they've tried a bunch of different things. Narduzzi has his strengths, but the problem is he is very stubborn. He does not adjust at half, and this has been an issue for a long time. And once again, you have situations where, okay, you have some success. You did win an ACC title, but the problem is that was a really weak year for the ACC. Mm-hmm. And then we just went to crap after the fact. I mean, Duke won the ACC title this year. That's all you need to know.
Yeah,
but the
ACC being garbage is normal.
Oh yeah, it was like the Big East, like after Miami and Virginia Tech left. It's just great. We still couldn't win the Big East, but it's just one of those things that, yeah, it's another year. Pitt basketball isn't much better. Jeff Capel had his moments, but unfortunately the luster's gone up there. Unfortunately, our previous AD Heather Lyke extended them both and ran off. And yeah.
I think we can all agree on you on that. I mean, our team just blew a 14-point lead to Kentucky. We had them by the ropes, and then we just blew it in the worst style imaginable, just completely shit the bed. And his, I know, isn't much better because they're unranked right now, and I know that they want their coach fired more than anything.
We lost to fucking Michigan yesterday.
And there you go. That tells you everything you need to know. You lose to Michigan. If there's an Ohio State fan, it's over. Fire everybody.
Pitt basketball lost to a D3 school earlier in the year. I think they lost to Davidson.
Yeah, that's a killing blow.
This is what Pitt does. I have to look up the schedule real quick. I forget who they lost to. They lost to Hofstra. Fucking Hofstra. And Quinnipiac. We lost to those goddamn schools.
What is that?
Yeah, we lost to those schools.
Isn't that a doctor?
And we beat Ohio State. I don't know why, but yeah. I don't know.
I am just getting fucked by the Yinzers every which way in the last 6 months. First, the Bengals played like shit against the Steelers in the NFL.
Oh, don't worry. Pitt sucks.
He's not. I mean, that's one thing we can all agree on is that our NFL team blows absolute balls. I mean, you're compared to our team's Tree, you guys are like the gods. Like, look at the situation we are in. The Saints absolutely. The Saints are going to be dead for the next 5 years.
But here's the problem. I mean, the Steelers are kind of like the Saints in those first few years where they didn't make the playoffs. They're trying to desperately stretch out a window, but there's no vision. The problem is you don't have the horses to truly compete for a championship, and ownership doesn't see that. So the problem is you bring in Mike McCarthy, which is a very uninspired hire. I don't think he's going to do much to really. He's a floor-raising coach. That's the reality. They brought him in because he's local. He grew up in Greenfield. That's all they brought him in for. Oh, yeah. That's the narratives that have been the talking points around here. It's like, did you know that he grew up in Greenfield? Did you know his dad was a firefighter and he owned a bar? Did you know that Mike cleaned the bar on Sundays before church? Yeah.
Good Lord.
I don't care.
Help us win games.
Yeah. And the problem is they're going to bring back Aaron Rodgers. He's 42. It's like Russell Wilson in the previous years. The problem is it's just he showed flashes of his old ability, but he was nowhere near what he was. And it's okay. We've had enough. But the problem is if you fancy yourself a competitive team, he's probably your best option. That's the worst part. I don't know what else is out there. Like really Kyler Murray, Tua, Derek Carr. We could bring him.
Don't look at the draft. Yeah. That's all I can say. Raiders got Mendoza locked up.
Yeah, but the problem is this was supposed to be a big quarterback draft. You remember last year we were talking about Cade Klubnik, Doug Nussmeier, Arch Manning, Drew Aller, Dante Moore. I mean, Fernando Mendoza was nowhere near the top. That's how far everything fell apart.
It is honestly mind-blowing to me still just how far a lot of these SEC quarterbacks fell off when the season was finally played. Like the hype train was so real. We were thinking Bill Belichick was going to take the Tar Heels to the college football playoff at one point during the offseason. That's how bad the hype was.
I did not think that. I didn't
think it either. But if you listen to Stephen A. Smith long enough, like he'll have you believe it. That's how much they were hyping it up.
No, I did not think Jordan Hudson's wife was taking that team anywhere, and I still think I don't think he's going any much further.
Jordan Hudson's divorced wife, she left him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
She got the bag and hit the hills for the next gold digger. Let's go.
Hey, more power to you. And Big Red, we are not trading for Will Levis. We will get those memes, but at the end of the day, if I could see the Steelers do anything, they're probably going to draft Ty Simpson. They will probably see Mike McCarthy as a quarterback whisperer. They will reach on him, and it's going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm not sold on Ty Simpson. Like, he did not do well against the big opponents, and he did not do well when the lights were brightest. So he has ability, but I just don't know if it's going to be able to be developed.
Yeah, no. I mean, to me, Ty Simpson, not to throw shade at Ohio State, even though I've done that plenty on this show. He to me, he's a lot like Julian saying in the fact that he is over reliant on one wide receiver. He was extremely over reliant on Ryan Williams over the course of this year. And then the same could be said for Julian saying with Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith's an elite player, but when he's boxed up, there weren't many options for Ohio State to go
with. Tate would like a word with you about that, actually.
Carnell Tate was good too. But when he becomes your only viable wide receiver option once, Jeremiah Smith is boxed up, it turns to a little bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama, Jeremiah Smith didn't help that the fact that he was having himself a sophomore slump this season either. So, like, his best weapon was Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith wasn't even playing like Jeremiah Smith was used to playing.
Ooh, okay. How about Trinidad Shambles? What do you think about that in the black and gold?
It was a question. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Trinidad Shambles, but I think at the same time, what do you think he goes like day 2?
Yeah, I would think at best.
Yeah.
He's undersized, number one, and a lot of NFL teams look down upon the shorter quarterbacks because you got to be able to get the fucking ball over those big boys up front. So, I mean, they may not look his way, quite frankly.
Well, would you say quarterback is your biggest concern for the team right now?
Well, I'd say it's a couple things. Also, that your elite talent is aging out. Cam Hayward is going to be 37. There are rumors of him potentially retiring. You have TJ Watt. He's hitting 32. He did not do well this past year. He took a step back. You also have Chris Boswell. He's going to be 35, which I can't believe. He's a tremendous kicker. But when the kicking ability goes, it goes fast. You also have issues at wide receiver 2. You still haven't been able to fill that position. DK Metcalf was very hot and cold as he was in Seattle. You have a huge tight end glut. You're probably getting rid of Jonnu, which is, well, good riddance. Offensive tackle, I would say left. I think Broderick Jones, you have a fifth-year option question you have to ask there. I mean, Dylan Cook did decent and did solidly in Yeoman's work as a backup. I think he's earned himself a depth role and maybe as a project. But I think at the same time, you still have a question there. Siumalo's a free agent as well, so you may be able to let him go and draft somebody there too. I think another problem is, once again, it's what do you do with secondary? What do you do with linebacker? I know you have a lot of guys that are aging out there. Jalen Ramsey, he had his moments. He's not the same. You have as well, you had a question at safety as well. Juan Thornhill didn't work out. Chuck Clark didn't work out. You also had Kyle Duggar, didn't really work out in the end. He had his flashes, but not much really there. But I think the thing is that, quick grind logic, Calvin Austin's a free agent. I would bring him back if the price is right, but I don't know. I mean, he's more of a slot guy. But I think the thing is, too, I think the biggest concern now is Kenneth Gainwell. I would love to bring him back, but the question is, how much does he want in free agency? I can see, especially since Mike McCarthy used him in Dallas, I can see them bringing in Rico Dowdle to replace him, which I wouldn't mind either. I love Rico Dowdle as a running back. But it's a question. The problem is, as a team, you're stuck. You don't have, your team's kind of aging out. You don't have a quarterback. Your best option is 42 years old. And it's your upside is what you had last year. You have a insane luck. Your entire division falls apart. You go 10-7, you get your ass beat in the wild card. So that's the problem. They want to win a playoff game. They're not interested in going deep. And the problem is they can't.
Oh yeah, no. So it doesn't necessarily feel like a full team reset to you. It just sort of, it just sort of feels
they're
like
retooling on the fly. That's the problem,
Mhm.
and they just want to keep the fires alive, and because they think, oh, we can still compete. But the reality is, it's RD2 hates the word rebuild. They're never going to rebuild, and it's the thing. They don't tank. They don't fire coaches. So here's the thing. The reality is they kind of need a really bad season to wipe it clean. But the problem is it's never going to happen willingly. And the problem is I think they're afraid of just being really bad for a long time, because if you look before Dan Rooney, they were a joke for decades. 40s, 50s, 60s, they were a punchline. They were not good. And I think part of it is, like, to borrow a wise man's term, RD2 lives in his fears. He doesn't really like change. He was kind of blindsided by Mike Tomlin leaving. So it honestly, like, this is the equivalent of running it back. And the reality is, what do you see that's different that has the fan base inspired to, think, okay, this is going to be a different year?
Right. It sounds familiar. I think a lot of teams are going to learn that in the college football spectrum. Penn State, I think, is going to learn that too. Their season this year, I mean, they brought in Iowa State's entire team, and they're thinking that they're going to be on the level that they were like back in 24 when they made the playoffs. And
no, they'll be better. They'll be better, but not what they were.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. They have the potential to at least make some noise, have an 8-win season, but it ain't going to be no playoff contender.
No,
even without having to play the big bad Buckeyes for the next 2 years. They just don't have it. There's going to be a lot more work done in Happy Valley in order to get it to where they need to go.
Yep, correct. And the problem is, you might have to take a couple steps back before you really take another step forward.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. The NIL
last year was supposed to be the year.
I mean, what I heard was that the booster money for NIL is kind of dried up towards the end with James Franklin. People were getting sick and tired of his excuses and the bullshit, and the national championship loss was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back when they lost the Orange Bowl to the fucking Irish.
Aggie here, get KC, won't regret it. He'll cook. I don't think KC Conception, as good as he was with A&M, he's not going to be able to carry a full team in the NFL. He's just not.
No,
you're going to need some more weapons, and I don't think he's that all. He's not like a Jeremiah Smith or a Ryan Williams. He is not a guy that will make a day one impact. He's going to have to be trained a bit.
There's a reason he transferred from NC State to Texas A&M and had to go on that path instead of being with just the blue blood from the get go. He's got a lot more to prove himself.
When he was at NC State, he was good. He was their top leading receiver for the team, but he wasn't like this blow up receiver that he didn't look like a day one impact as soon as he went to the NFL. But I mean, it's another receiving target. He's just not the receiving target.
He'll be a solid number 2, I would say, on most NFL teams, but not a star.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you on that. All right. Well, here's what I think. So, Tree, from your perspective, just overall, I mean, I know that you watch way more NFL than college football, but I mean, I know you saw the Hoosiers at least win the championship. knowing your experiences with like Pitt and everything like that, I'm sure you know that the Hoosiers themselves were like one of the bottom feeders of the college football world for years and years and years. What did you think about that? What did you think of just the season overall?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I firmly believe that Kurt Signetti played the greatest game of dynasty mode that NCAA football has ever seen.
Absolutely.
I know it happened with a lot of transfers and fifth-year seniors, but, I mean, it's very impressive to see. I mean, if you look at what he said, the I win Google me part, he went out and did it. And honestly, instead of being a punchline, it's now one of the iconic quotes of college football lore.
Yeah, no. When he first said it, it was a joke because right after that he got ran through by Notre Dame. Then he came out the very next year and he just started rolling the table, just ran the gauntlet, beat down everybody. Every good team that he played didn't even stand a chance. I mean, probably the team that played best against them was Miami in the championship game. Yeah, and it ended like every Miami game ends with a Carson Beck interception. So it's all that to say, I mean, Indiana, they had a season that most college football fans can only ever dream of. I can only ever dream of something like that. I never saw my team even win a national championship, much less go 16-0, go undefeated, run the gauntlet, and, win the championship in the best way possible because they won everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the only reason why I think The only reason why I was going to say that Signetti was laughed at from the beginning is just because they simply did not Google his ass. I think a lot of these coaches that you see that continue to be kind of like the sons of Saban from the coaching tree as they continue to kind of pop out of the weeds here and there. Those are going to be the guys that continue to shape college football for years to come. So we can laugh at Alabama right now for getting blown out, not even putting up double digits in the Rose Bowl and being a victim of one of their own prophets. But like Saban's influence is going to be lingering over this sport long into the future, without a doubt, because of everything that motherfucker did. He is the coaching tree, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
General Miley with the 2. Tree, what are your thoughts on the new FBS coaches? Or I guess the new coaching hires is what he means by that.
Ooh, I mean, in terms of the FBS coaches, I know most of them more or less depend on just the situation entirely. I think James Franklin will do well in Virginia Tech, at least rebuilding that program into what it was. I think because he did best in those smaller markets, with Vanderbilt building that up. I think especially with the recruits he's getting from Penn State, I think that'll be jolted pretty fast. I know James Franklin's issue was in the clutch. He would always find ways to win like a lot of games, but that was always the issue with him. So as long as he doesn't face Ohio State and Michigan, I think he'll be fine. I think too with Matt Campbell, I think it's a decent hire, but the problem is he was like playing H because they had just so many other guys either get turned down or, like here's this random bunch of money we found from nil. Here, have the money. That's what happened with BYU with Crumble Cookie. It just turned into
they got beat down by cookies, outbid by a dadgum cookie company. I think that's the lowest point for a program like that.
They pretty much got beaten to submission, and then it just turns into just madness, I would say.
And it was.
And then otherwise, it's just same old, I feel like. But
right. And I know Red could tell you all about it. He's getting ready to finish up and work on this Lane Kiffin video.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun one.
Yeah. He's going to have a lot to work with. I know that for a fact.
I'm losing brain cells over it, quite frankly. I'm still stuck on just trying to get him out of the Raiders arc that he had with this feud with Al Davis in 08 and 09. That was an absolute shit show. I genuinely, we're going to bring up FBS coaches here. We might as well bring this fucking snake up. I know Lane Kiffin has been hitting the transfer portal hard. LSU's been near top of the class, if not top of the class in terms of transfers during the offseason. I know they're hitting the recruiting trail hard. I know they hit it all so hard that Damon Williams left and then returned to Washington, for fuck's sake. So do you think that Lane Kiffin, from what you know, is going to come into LSU and do anything remotely close to what he was doing at Ole Miss, or do you think he's going to crash and burn within 2 years?
Ooh, I hope he crashes and burns. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it would be hilarious comedy, and then the governor comes out and starts flipping shit like he did against the AD. But as I said, I think LSU's expectations are so high that anything less than a natty is considered absolute failure. Or at least a playoff appearance. Yeah. I mean, as I said, it felt good to see Brian Kelly eat shit because he's a fucking piece of shit. But the thing is, with Lane Kiffin, you just hope that Al Davis is sitting up there with his overhead projector, just hexing him up above or below where he is, maybe in the burning fires of hell, just sitting there about just win, baby. Maybe he's just doing that. I hope he is. But,
boy.
There's going to be some drama for sure. LSU fans are convinced that he's guys, this is the top job in the network. He will never leave us for a better job. There's no such thing as a better job in the college football world or a better job in the sports world than LSU.
Correct.
And so he'd never even think about leaving for LA. Just watch. Watch. It won't take long.
If somebody throws him a bag, he once a snake, always a snake. A snake never hides its true colors. It merely sheds skin.
Yeah, Ole Miss made the same mistake. Ole Miss fans, every time I had a conversation with them about it, they're like, no. This time, I know he's done it 12 different times, but no, this time he's a changed man.
Just like Josh McDaniels said the same thing.
Honestly, it would not surprise me in the least bit. it would not surprise me in the least bit if Kyle Whittingham does not work out in Michigan and somebody comes calling the Lane Kiffin in the maize and fucking blue, offering hundreds of millions of dollars to come save that godforsaken
Well, it's funny.
program.
Every single time a major program fired their head coach, the top man you'd see in the odds chart would always be Lane Kiffin. And he'd play around with it. He put up troll tweets. He'd do all of that, play around with it, and constantly get Ole Miss fans to think that he's going to leave. And then he never leaves, and they're like, oh yeah, he's just trolling. He's just trolling. He'd never actually leave.
Oh, sure.
He did the same for Auburn back in 22. If nobody else took that job, he absolutely would have jumped ship for Auburn.
It's going to be such a goddamn circus, especially when Ole Miss and LSU play in the Magnolia Bowl here in midway through the season coming up. That's going to be an absolute shit show of a media circus. Game day is already going to be there, and it's going to be a bloodbath. The bullshit they're going to be talking to each other is just going to be off the chain, and I think it's going to be a massive distraction. The one thing that's worse than a head coach that sucks is a head coach that loves the smell of his own shit and is just absolutely making a big ass stink and bringing the whole damn circus with him when he comes to fucking town. Kurt Signetti, he dropped in Indiana, said one little catchphrase, and went on to have 2 amazing seasons in a row without saying too much more. He's like quick little one-liners here and there. Lane Kiffin, he brings the circus, he brings the White House, he brings the planes, he brings the jets, he goes all fucking Ric Flair, woo, with the limousine riding, jet flying, all that bullshit into the town. Makes a whole mess, and then leaves it completely screwed over.
Correct.
Well, it's going to be spectacular. Oh, yeah. Well, what's going to be spectacular is that, LSU and Ole Miss are facing off week 3. That is, I'm telling you right now, game day, 100% there, no matter what, no matter what other game is being hyped up that week, game day and everyone else on planet Earth is going to have their central focus on that LSU Ole Miss game because it is going to be cinema.
Absolute cinema.
Yeah. Phoenix, thank you very much for the 2. My 3 favorite football YouTubers said football is over. Well, one constant with the football spectrum, as you already know, is chaos. There's always some crazy bullshit going on in the college football or just the sports world in general. It goes worldwide all around 365 days. I'm sure Tree knows that all too well since he covers the sports world, even if it is. I mean, hell, we're talking to a guy that plays on a team. You play on a team, the Melonheads.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're jealous.
Baseball, maybe. I mean, we're bringing it back.
I'm excited. That's going to be fun.
That'll
I'm
be
looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Real good to see. Maybe you'll actually get a hit.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
We'll be rooting for you all the same.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Phoenix with the 5. Auburn's Derek Hall getting a sack last night was the best thing to happen to Auburn since 2017.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That team. You want to talk about a fucking tire fire of a mess. Auburn has been an absolute shit show I don't know what compelled them to hire Hugh Freeze after what he did at Ole Miss. I really don't know. It set them back for half a decade.
Yeah, speaking of which, we were, me and Red were both on the dumpster fire last week. So, again, thank you for inviting us on that. But
absolutely.
I actually did not know until I got in there that 5 points that was an Auburn fan. I didn't know that he was focused on Auburn particularly. And
he
I
wants to sit in passing, but he's never been like crazy about it.
No, I would imagine not. But I mean, because look at Auburn right now. It's an absolute mess, but yeah, no, I mean, I understand, but yeah, no, that was interesting to see, but yeah, no, when he asked me, he asked me how what's the main thing that Auburn needs to do to get fixed? And I was like, everything. What doesn't Auburn need to do to get fixed? Because look at the state of their program right now.
Yep.
It's awful.
It's kind of a mess.
Train wreck. Yeah.
I mean, I think that they'll be a lot better off now that Golish came in. But what concerns me with the hire with Alex Golish, and he also brought in his quarterback for USF, Byron Brown. I really just want to see how well he can coach in an SEC environment, because at USF, it kind of felt like at times he was just saying, all right, Byron, just go out there and go do some shit, make some moves, do some spins, throw the ball, fuck it, chuck it, whatever. You ain't gonna be able to get away with shit like that in the SEC ball. Even teams against like Arkansas, you can't get away with shit like that. No matter how bad Woo Pig Sooie is, that's a tough opponent to put away every single time. So I feel like Auburn's gonna be in for a rude awakening. The honeymoon phase will be rather quick with Golish.
I think so.
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier, Tree, before you got on here, but this news got announced this week. Trinidad Chambliss waiver for a 6th season of eligibility gets denied by the NCAA. And this is a reoccurring problem in the college football world. You got players that are sticking around in college for more than 6 years, 7, 8, 9 years of college football. So it's becoming a huge problem. I want to know your thoughts about that.
I think the problem is, like, with COVID exemptions, how much longer can you push that out? Because that ended 22? Because I know they had the COVID exemptions in 20 and 21. That's why everyone lasted 8 or 9 years, including injuries. But at the same time, you're 26, 27 and starting in that year. Most guys have like 5, 6 years in the NFL by that point. What classes do you take if you're a 9th-year guy? Do you take underwater basket weaving, or do you do something different? Do you get a double major? I don't know.
Well, a lot of them don't even enroll in any classes. They just straight up play football, and that's it. They don't have to take any classes. They literally graduate from their school, but then stay with their team to play college football. What? How does that make sense? College football and college sports is for the college athlete. If you're not in college, then you're just an athlete. Either go to the NFL or go to dadgum McDonald's or Chick-fil-A to serve me my milkshake.
Yeah, I mean, Carson Beck, he even said, like, he's got a degree from the University of Georgia, and they went to go play for the University of Miami. And literally, despite all of the work he put in, I have to worry about college classes, GPAs, none of that shit. He still fucking sucked. So, like, I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's all that big of a problem, because you still got guys like Carson Beck that'll just shit the bed at random like that, despite all the work they put in there. It's a damn shame.
A lot of these players stick around in college for this long because they don't get invited to the draft in the first 4 years. So if they're like, okay, well, if you give me like 3 more years, if you need 7 years to be considered for the NFL, you aren't NFL material. It's just that simple.
Just go to the UFL at that point, for fuck's sake. Like, what's the problem with these players realizing, you know what? I've done all I could do in college. I'm not enrolled anywhere else. How about I go to Canada or go to the UFL, play in the feeder league for a year or two, make some money, probably not as much as you would in college because, let's be honest here, the contracts ain't as great, but in a pro style league that is not the college game. It might not be as glamorous. You're not going to be getting no fucking 5-star treatment everywhere you go. You might not get people asking for your autographs, but god damn it, it's going to put some eyes on you that the NFL scouts will actually give a shit about. I just don't get it. I don't fucking understand it.
Well, it's just, as I said, it's about the NIL money. That's really about it.
Oh, yeah. Say it with me, kids. Money talks, bullshit walks.
But bullshit walks. Yes, we know.
Money
we know that for truth. It's the main thing that guides all these decisions. It's the main reason why the NCAA won't do anything about it, is because they're getting paid. They're getting that sweet cash from it. So I don't know if it'll ever change, and I think it'll get a whole lot worse before it gets better. We need like an actual commissioner of this league. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to get worse.
You think these conferences would all come together and agree with each other to put one motherfucker in charge that's independent of all of them? You would need like a black stuff. That would be like the equivalent of MLB and all their teams in the early 1900s coming together. And the only reason why they let a commissioner in was because the Black Sox scandal nearly killed baseball. That's the only reason why that happened. You would need a scandal that would be so big, it would have to almost kill college football for them to be desperate enough to do that. It's not happening.
Think about what's happened in just the past month. We've had some almost backbreaking scandals. I mean, the Damon Williams situation, that nearly just destroyed his career.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes further beyond that. It's just an absolute mess.
Tree, what do you think? I mean, do you think that what would be the scenario you feel like for college football to come together and say, you know what, we're going to put one guy as the final decision maker for all of FBS that'll actually help enforce the rules and put a little bit of clarity into this Wild West system we have right now? And if you don't know,
a gigantic scandal. It would have to take a gigantic scandal. That's the only way it would be able to do it. Otherwise, it's not much else to really say.
I mean, you know what I think the scandal is going to end up being? What? It's going to be gambling.
Gambling, or it would have to be like mob work under the table for NIL money.
That's also very true. Yeah.
Or it could be something along the lines of, say, I mean, the Saudis potentially getting in, and they're thinking, "Oh no, we're done."
Yeah, there's a water tower with the Tennessee Vols logo in the Middle East, so I'm wagering now that we're going to somehow be involved in that if that does happen to be the case. Great. All right. Well, I've got one more topic to talk about before we go ahead and call it wraps on tonight's show. It's been a great show, by the way. Thank you again for being on here, Tree.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on.
The news of this dropped not long ago. In fact, it was somewhere around the 8th or the 9th over the course of this weekend. Atlanta Falcons rookie and Tennessee Volunteers player, former Tennessee Vol, one of my favorite players before all this news came out, James Pierce Jr. This was all alleged up till this point. He gets arrested for crashing his vehicle into Rakia Jackson's vehicle multiple times, which, by the way, another Tennessee Vol, WNBA player. They were dating at the time. They broke up a little while back. Rakia Jackson is getting followed by him, stalked by him, and he crashes his vehicle into her. And then he does the same with a police officer, strikes a police officer with his vehicle while evading arrest. Yeah. I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. I mean, I feel like this is such an obvious question here, but do you think his career is completely over now?
I mean, it might be, and that's the worst part. At least, as I said, the max for one of his felonies is 5 years in jail. So I think the thing is, Atlanta may have to cut ties again, and they've had this situation happen before with Michael Vick. They traded a future first-round pick for this guy, and he was actually doing okay. He had 10 and a half sacks. But the issue was always character concerns. And the problem is, you see the character concerns. And now it just turns into Terry Fontenot looking like a complete idiot, and he would have been fired if it weren't for this anyway. But as I said, he's just throwing away a lucrative career for what? Like, he would have made a lot of money. And now he's going to be in jail. He might come out in a few years, might come back to the NFL, but the reputation's gone. That's the reality of it.
The bond's set at over $20,000.
Yeah, as I said, that's serious shit, especially with hitting a police officer with a vehicle. Not inadvertent or inadvertent. Yeah, that's serious shit. And congratulations, Atlanta. You are still miserable.
I genuinely feel like that NFL teams need to be better, especially the NFL teams. And you could look at many other pro leagues and say, well, they should be able to have some system in place to help pick up guys like this and not let them into their organizations or anything like that. But it really feels like in the NFL, especially, you get too many cases where these guys, they come into the league, they have a cup of coffee, and then they just do something horrifically stupid because they got a lot of money or they got famous, and then they start meeting different people, and then their true character comes out. And on the one end, you could argue, well, I mean, you're not really going to know what kind of guy they are until they're out of the college system because it's so regimented what their daily lives are in the system. And shit, even at the D3 level, yeah, you're everything from 5 a.m. to midnight. You were on a schedule, but they got to be teams got to be better about this shit, man, because it's just not a good look. And putting players that you're picking up in positions like this, where they're going out and just doing stupid shit like this, it's not only a bad look for the league, but it just makes everybody look stupid in the end.
Correct. But as I said, it's just that's why they had the red flag warnings, but. Once again, it's just, what can you do?
No.
Yeah, no, there really isn't much you could do. But yeah, no, he's charged with at least 5 felonies, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated stalking, aggravated battery of a law enforcement officer. I mean, it just,
yeah.
In my opinion, I think he's done. I think something this serious, I don't see him getting back into the league. I just don't think it's going to happen.
What was his name? Jerry Judy, you said, who fucking killed someone?
No,
you're thinking of Henry Riggs.
Henry Ruggs. There's rumors that he could be coming back when he gets out in a year or two.
But as I said,
I very highly doubt it.
He's still in jail, though.
But if he comes back after that, never say never in this.
But who knows? Because I think the NFL is willing to forgive a lot of stuff. I mean, look at what happened with Jalen Carter. He is directly
he killed a dude.
Yeah, directly involved with a drag racing event, and he was still playing on the Eagles like nothing happened. So, anything can happen. Maybe he does come back, and in which case, I think that puts the Falcons in a bad light. It's a big risk to take,
of course,
as a franchise overall. Because if you're willing to look past all that, then who knows what else you're willing to look past.
I mean, that's as I said. it's always about if you can help a team win a game. If you're transcendent talent and you're decent and you're really good at football, guess what? They're going to let you tolerate a lot more shit. If you're a third stringer and you're pulling that shit, you're insta-cut. It's just the nature of the beast.
Oh, absolutely.
That's true.
It's the same thing. It's the same problem the Georgia Bulldogs are having. And
Had to bring up those fuckers, didn't you?
I did. I hate this. Isn't just me saying I hate Georgia, and so I'm going to find an excuse to bring them up. There's a legitimate problem going on with DUIs, drunk driving.
Oh yeah, that's a culture issue.
Just
watch something happen like with Baylor, where there's a huge issue, and then the coach has to leave, and his reputation is just destroyed.
And Kirby Smart, like Kirby Smart is one of the top coaches in the nation, at least top 2, if you want to include Kirk Cignetti in that conversation already. So it would be a huge deal if something like that were to happen. And if it seemed like for the longest time they were trying their hardest to sweep everything under the rug, but then finally starting last year, the year before that, these incidents kept happening to the point that Kirby Smart literally had to start kicking these guys off the team. Same thing happened with Nitro Tuggle last year. He gets kicked off the team for a DUI. Same thing happens to a couple of the other guys. They go on to other programs. But I mean, the same issues keep happening. More and more players are getting arrested, and it's not like they're purposely bumping Georgia players getting arrested above.
No, as I said, no, God, no. It's just the way they recruit. They recruit based on talent. And they say we can either fix the red flags or we'll ignore them as long as they play well on the field. So that's just an issue. I don't know how you really fix that.
The only way is if starting from the bottom is to refresh the culture from top to bottom. But again, being in that Atlanta pipeline, that's really difficult to do that because, I mean, I've seen it before. It's way lesser than with Georgia Tech because it's way harder to get into that school. But I've seen the same thing happen to some of the Georgia Tech players too.
Oh yeah, it's an ATL. It's a big market, man.
Huge market. Probably the biggest pipeline for recruiting in college football right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dumb Gamers with the 2 says been manifesting LSU going 0-12 next season. Good luck with that.
Yeah, you keep dreaming, buddy. You can donate all you want, manifest all you want. LSU's going to beat the FCS school. It's going to fucking happen.
We're playing.
Hey. Sometimes your dreams can come true.
Who knows? All right, last thing for you, Tree. Before we go ahead and call it a night, I do want to know. So, yeah, as you know, I'm a suffering Tennessee fan. He's a very much suffering Ohio State fan. Ooh. I want to just know from your take, what do you think, at least at this point in time, the record is going to be for both of our teams?
Ooh, well, I think Ohio State once again makes the playoff. I think just because they have the best team money can buy. That's just the reality of Ohio State. They could have any of us coach the team. We could probably do okay because we just have the talent. Man management wise, it'd be a little different, but I think they'll at least be at the top of the the Big Ten.
I'm going to follow up that real quick.
I don't know if they go further. That's the question.
Do they beat Michigan?
Ooh, that's tough. I think they do because Michigan's still having their issues, especially with the new head coach.
Okay, good. Good answer.
Hey, I'll pass the test.
Yeah. That's the one thing he wants to know. Yeah, is whether or not he beats Michigan. But yeah, no, this is a way tougher one. What about Tennessee? Do they have any chance of doing anything this year?
As I said, they do have the pedigree of making the playoffs 2 years ago, but the SEC is such a gauntlet. I don't know. I think you can go at least 8-4, but I don't know. As I said, it depends on your schedule. I'll have to look up your schedule real quick.
Yeah, no, I'll pull it up real fast.
While you're doing that, I do have one fault. I do want to know, do you feel like Pitt's going to make a leap next year as they continue to develop their quarterback? Or do you think it's going to be another wasted season for you?
I don't know. The problem is we thought that last year with Bo Holstein. He regressed big time. Then they brought in Mason Heinschel. He was showing some cracks later in the year, but once again, it's just I don't know. That's the reality. It's because quarterbacks can be so fickle, especially in college.
That's just true.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No,
you should still have them.
The injury bug has been a huge problem for a lot of our teams as of late.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, this is the schedule for Tennessee next year. Pretty difficult. Got Georgia Tech on the road after Furman, Kennesaw State. We host Texas, Alabama, Kentucky, LSU, and then we get Arkansas on the road, Texas A&M on the road, Vandy, South
that
Carolina.
Furman game's going to be a loss. Paladin's going to beat your ass, buddy.
Oh, yeah, no. Paladins.
Be careful, man. Them's fighting words.
Yeah, no playoff team, sir. Yeah, I'll remember that. Trust me. We'll be hatching it out all season, off season long. You know how to do about that. Yeah. But just from first perspective, without knowing anything about the team or anything of, do you think? I mean, do you think they do better than 8-4?
I would say around 8-4, 9-3. I would say around that range.
You know what that means, Squid? Music
Because
shitty bowl once again.
I mean, the question is Texas, Alabama, and LSU. Those are going to be your question marks. And then one of the extra teams you could find a way. But South Carolina has always been a tough opponent.
Oh, yeah.
And Texas A&M too. So, as I said, 4 losses, honestly, if I were to bet off the top of my head, Texas, Alabama, Texas A&M, LSU.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
No.
I mean,
I get it.
Back on Vandy.
I mean, yeah, if we get Vandy back, then I guess it'd be worth it. But yeah, Red might be right. We might be heading back to music shitty, and in which case, yeah, the entire fan base is going to crash out, and they're going to be screaming, "Fire!" You know, Tennessee lost by like 30 or something to South Carolina women's basketball team, and they're one of the best women's basketball teams. But like our fan base is already like they're I knew it. She wasn't a proven head coach. Worst head coach ever. Got to fire her. And they've been doing this all season long. Every time the Lady Vols blow a game, it's instantly fire her ass, fire his ass, or fire Rick Barnes.
Oh, that's every fan base, dude. I mean, even Pittsburgh, we're like, fire!
Yeah, fire! Fire! Fire!
Yeah, we got to fire everybody.
Spitting, just for man, he's spitting out everywhere. So like,
Jerome Miley asked, Tree, how do you see Florida doing next year?
Oh, I mean, Florida has a new coach. Question is, it's probably going to take a year or two before they can really fully instill that culture. I think it's going to be another struggle bus year just because of that new coach transition.
I think he's just going to be another Billy Napier, but that's what I think.
I mean, you never know. There could be a whole lot of your favorite word, Squid, and that word is development.
Ooh, development. I don't know. Maybe so. Shout out to Dan Mullen, by the way. Yeah, great guy.
That old Desert Rat. He really did a great work at UNLV last season. I gotta give it to the old fucker. He really helped elevate that program a little bit with all the shit they had going on the year prior. So I give him shit, but I respect the work he put in there. I already know after next season, he's probably gonna be landing some other job in the fucking Power 5 with somebody.
Well, I think you'd take General Shadow. I think you'd take anybody over Arthur Smith, if I'm just being honest.
Oh, I think that's just everybody.
Like, yeah, no, that's like, there ain't much worse than that.
Yeah, unironically, give me Chip Kelly back. I'm not even fucking Northwestern will trade you. I do not care. Give us
Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly wasn't even bad.
Yeah,
it wasn't even terrible.
We won a national title with Chip Kelly, and that almost feels wrong to say.
Don't forget, you also won with Jim Knowles. He's now our defensive coordinator.
Yeah, have fun, motherfucker.
Yeah, now you say he's terrible because he's not there.
Because he is. Because he is terrible.
Yeah, you say that, but you guys were praising him 2 years ago when he won y'all the title.
No. We were praising the players on our defense 2 years ago.
Worst coach ever in existence.
No, we were. I do not care. What the difference between what Jim Knowles did with Ohio State in that championship season, what Chip Kelly did is Will Howard wasn't the greatest goddamn quarterback in college football, and we still won the national title with Will Howard as our quarterback. We had a lot of excellent players on that defense that could have stopped damn near any team in the country, and we won the national title because of that. It took a loss to Michigan to really finally kick us into fucking overdrive, and we showed it against your goddamn team on our own home field, by the way. I'm sure you remember that one very much.
Yeah, but be careful about that because Pittsburgh fans think Will Howard's the future. There's the cult of Howard, like there's the cult of Shador. It's very annoying.
The cult of Shador. Oh,
you know what, man?
I knew y'all were gonna get an experience of that.
From a Bengals fan to a Yinzer, I hope that it really is a cult of Howard because while I wish Will Howard nothing but the best, I wish him nothing but the best in finally getting a trade to another fucking team.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the way you could see it, Red, is that the prophecy gets fulfilled again, and the Steelers fulfill the legendary record of 9-8.
Well,
Of 9
it's
and
10-7 technically.
Oh, so now it's 10-7. Hey, that's
it'll be not. Maybe McCarthy will get us to 8-9 or 7-10.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, 7-10. Ooh, that's
bold, man.
The
interest will be melting down. I mean, we'll just be like, oh boy.
Yep. That's the only thing you can take from 7-10 is that you
That's
don't
the
have to
thing.
go through 9-8 Super Bowl again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll be pissed about Artie too. We'll be like, "Fuck you, Artie." Piece of
But
shit.
you know what? I think that would happen, and then like everybody in the AFC North just completely collapses again, and it's
That's
like,
how it always goes.
6 of those
And then-
wins are conference or divisional opponents. So congratulations!
Oh, of course.
You get a
That's
whole
usually how it
playoff
goes.
game.
Oh yeah, that's always how it is. Because it's just like the Steelers have a magic horseshoe shoved up their ass.
Feel that. You're right there with us on that. Right, my college team and your pro team, we all basically the standard is the standard for both of us.
Yep. Well, the standard's gone. Now it's whatever Mike McCarthy has now, and
perennially mid, just continuous amounts of mid. Trust me, I understand that more than anybody.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. I'm either top of the mountain or fucking bottom of the dumpster with the Bengals and the Buckeyes.
You lost.
Nobody's
one
getting
game.
fired. Out of all the guys that survive, it's fucking Zach Taylor.
It's the Super Bowl. It's the 2 AFC championship appearances. It's the Joe Burrow injury. It's the excuses. Nothing but. And Mike Brown and Katie Blackburn being cheap little shits. That's the only other reason why they don't want to pay good money to get an actual head coach in here. They want to pay good money to put an actual defense on this fucking roster. They're trying to nickel and dime it as best they can until the draft goes their way again, which will not happen anytime soon. And we're going to Dan Marino, Joe Burrow. This whole city will riot.
Oh, of course. They should riot. I agree with you. I hope they riot. Like,
I'm not talking about just the occasional billboard off I-71 either. I'm talking about like an actual, like, we're taking the torches to Paycor, motherfuckers.
Hey, and then Mike Brown will make them pay for a new stadium again because that's
or die.
Yeah.
Either one.
Well, he's a cockroach. He just doesn't die. I don't know why, but he just doesn't die.
I miss you, Paul.
It's a little bit like Jerry Jones, doesn't it?
Jesus. All right.
Yeah, it's always the worst ones that live till like they're 90. It's annoying as shit.
Yeah, ask the Bears fans how they felt about that.
I just think Jerry Jones is immortal. He's just going to be there forever. That he's going to be the owner of the Cowboys until the Cowboys are no more. I'm just convinced at this point.
Sure.
That's just how it is.
It do be. All right. Well, it is about 9:30, so I guess we are going to go ahead and call it a night. Tree, thank you so much, man, for being with us here on the FBS Report. Glad to have you. Yeah,
Absolutely,
it's a spectacular show. Hope for your sake that the Panthers find a way to do a little bit better than mid and don't collapse this year.
Better. I don't know, man. That's
the answer for don't put money on that.
I mean, if you go from like 8-5 to 7-6, yeah, it's improvement. I don't know. If I were you, I'd probably want the collapse too, just so we can get Pat Narduzzi out of there.
Well, the problem is it depends if NIL's willing to swallow that contract. Then you might get him out of there.
The almighty fucking buyout.
Yeah, buddy.
Happens to the best of us. All right. Well, Tree, we will wish you the best of luck. Good luck throughout the off season for the football, because now you're going on to hockey and baseball and basketball and everything else. You'll need all the luck you can get. The chaos never ends around here.
Oh, it always does. The bullshit's real.
It is indeed real. All right, buddy. Well, you take it easy. You take care. And glad to have you on.
Thank you, man. Peace out.
Thank you, Tree. Appreciate you, bud.
All right, Red. Well, we'll go ahead and call it wraps for tonight. Great show as always. Really had a good time. Thank you all again for tuning in. You're all wonderful people. There really isn't much else to say. I mean, for the last like two shows, we've been like our show from 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. It was a 3-hour show, so it was overdue.
Yeah, never again, because Mo will literally murder me in my sleep.
Yeah, you'll be sleeping outside in a tent, and I don't want that.
I'll be coming. I'll be walking to your house barefoot, knocking on the door, and be like, "Motherfucker, this is your fault."
Yeah, if you can drive all the way down here, good luck with that.
I can
yeah,
hotwire my car. Don't worry about it. I mean, what?
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to call it. So thank you guys all for tuning in tonight on the FBS Report. We'll be back next week. There might be another guest. We'll see. I'll let you know in due time. But yeah, no, until then, thank you all again for watching. And of course, do not forget, pound a toward area. And I'll check with you all next time. Red, tell them.
We love you, Tree, but fuck the Steelers. We out.
In the